Hey guys, welcome back to another monster video. So in today's video I have another monster review for you guys. Today we have Jungle Eagle, which was basically a community monster. This was made by somebody from the community, the ML community, and it was like a design a monster challenge basically. So this year's design a monster, we have him here, and I'm gonna do a full review from level 1 to 150. But without further ado guys, let's go ahead and get into this. Alrighty guys, so take a look at this. We have 9,000 cells, and soon I'm gonna do a review on Fishigami as well, and a few other monsters that are gonna be on the way. But we have Jungle Eagle. Again, this is one of the monsters that got selected for like monster of the year. So pretty cool stuff. And wow, look at that design. Oh wow, it's a nature and fire. I figured that. I thought it was gonna be like another element on top of that, but that's really sick. I really like that. That's a really cool design. I think they did whoever designed this, they did a pretty good job. If I'm not mistaken, I think their last name was like Granger or something like that. I think I saw it on Discord. So huge shout out to him. Also huge shout out to Social Point for giving me early access to this monster, guys. Take a look at that. Oh, look at that orb that he's like carrying as well. I didn't even notice that. It's like a staff orb, but I think he's going to be a supporter. The way I see seen that, yeah, look at that. Applies triple damage and heals on ally by 100%. Applies 2 random damage boosts on top of that. Oh, he is going to be a good supporter. Okay, we have Hardened, Immunity to Blind, and Anticipation. Maybe you can work something with that, because the Anticipation, although it's a status caster, once he gets a turn, that could be beneficial for Team Wars, for example. If you're going to be using this monster for Team Wars, he can be a pretty good like defense monster, or possibly even offense, but especially a defense though for sure. And besides all that, guys, before we get into feeding a monster up, I'm actually going to rank it up first. To make this monster super useful, try to get it to rank 3 because of that Anticipation status caster. Also, guys, there's going to be a QR code on the screen. Make sure to scan the QR code to go into the game and grab yourself this monster through whatever event he's going to be available in. Or you can also hit the top link description down below. That's also going to get you, just a quick access to the game and obtain this monster as well through the event. But take a look at this. I'm gonna go ahead and just feed the monster up. That design is so cool. I really like that. I also did just review the ancestral monster, and yo, let me tell you that, like, if you haven't watched a review for the ancestral, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably will before, because that video is gonna be out before this one. And let me tell you that monster is so good. Like it's crazy good. That, I don't know if they're gonna nerf him or not, but I really hope they don't, because he is pretty cool and he's pretty easy to use as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and open up those rune slots there, but let's take a look at the skills. We have removing all tortures, so removing torture and healing all allies by 30%, and applies life regen. That removing torture from everybody, I think that's from everybody, not just one ally, right? So that's really good. And you're healing everybody. Yo, I like that skill. What else do we have here? Removing all shield from all enemies, and then deals low fire damage to all enemies, applies vulnerability. So you're getting an AoE vulnerability. There's applies random protection and life regens everybody. Okay, what else do we have? Moderate special damage to all enemies, applies a random negative side effect and a random torture to all enemies. Okay, this one applies 2 random tortures to one enemy. This one is just in healing all ally by 20%, but keep in mind it's spammable. I might actually run this over this. Some of you guys might run this over this, but I personally like the AoE like 20% heal that's spammable. Sometimes with skill mirror, that's also kind of nice, because you're healing by 40% instead of 20%. If you're going to be pairing it up with the Megaton that has that skill mirror, I think it's Sabers if I'm not mistaken. But let's see. So these are the 4 skills in my opinion that you can actually run on this monster. We have 52 stamina cost, 48, 0, and 38. Stamina cost is moderate, I would say. Cooldowns also moderate, except this one. This one's low. But in terms of relics, you get a staff and also a revival. I like that. So for the staff, there's actually a lot of options. You can go with something that gives you stamina. I would actually personally highly recommend going with something that gives you stamina, because this monster will need it, because you have a revival on the other, right? Well, that's not necessarily a revival, but a lot of players will be running this monster as a revival. So you could do like a barbarian assassin, genesis assassin, or whatever it is to kind of bring the monster back. Now, since I'm actually running a relic on the side that's going to give me stamina, I don't necessarily have to go with something that gives me stamina here. A lot of players will probably do something like I said, a revival one. Adventurous Essence would be pretty cool for this monster, or really anything. You can't really go wrong with them. Even a Barbarian's Essence, because I like the damage, but you have to pair it up with Killer Rock to make it a little bit better. And with the Barbarian, like, what is it called? This one right here is like a, yeah, if all allies are from Barbarian, basically revives, and then you're like getting like a burn to all enemies as well. But this right here is probably the best part. Honestly, I'm just gonna go with something like Mater Genesis SN. You can't really go wrong with that. Now, he's a kind of like monster that, you know, you can pair it up with almost anybody. You can't really go wrong because he's gonna be a team speed holder, right? So you're gonna do something like this, like one team speed with 2 speed, or like 2 team speed with 1 speed, or even a triple team speed. You can't really go wrong with that, because this monster is one of the ones that are gonna go somewhere in between, or like somewhere a little bit later. He's definitely not gonna take the first turn. I mean, what are you really gonna do when you take the first turn with this monster? Heal? That's not gonna do anything. You don't really need to heal unless, let's say, the enemy is like super fast. They take in the turn and they do something. Then I understand. You know, you want to clear things up, apply life regen and healing. That's okay. But in most cases, you don't want this monster to take in the first turn. Now, I'm probably actually going to just run it with like Maximus. Pretty good attacker in my opinion. So you can't really go wrong with Maximus. I already am running the Starsealer sword there. I could probably run something else on the side. Let's do like Laser Beam Sword, something really random. I mean, some players are probably going to run something different. A lot of players, of course, but I just picked something really random. It doesn't really matter. Now, you can run like a Megaton on your side. If you don't want to run a Megaton, you could do something different. But honestly, it's not a bad option running it with Megaton, because this monster can always heal. You know what I mean? You can always spam heal if needed. So he's just there to kind of like support that monster, or basically everybody in the team, including himself. But it could be pretty good with Adele, for example, or even Saberus, you know what I mean? Giving those life regens and healing, those are really good. Now, alright guys, so this is the battle you guys have been waiting to see. So I'm actually taking in the first turn with Maximus here. Maximus is pretty darn fast here. We have that Dark Recast on ourselves. It's whatever. Let me see what this monster has. Anything? Nothing? Okay, that's okay. So we have Dark Damaging Skill, or we could do that one. This one also gets an extra turn, which isn't too bad. So we could probably start off with that if anything, and then use an AoE skill. But honestly, I don't think I could actually even like OTK that monster, even if I use that. Actually, maybe I could have. I'm not sure. He did get pretty weak though. You know what I mean? But it's okay. I mean, it's all right. He survived. What? So what? It's not a big deal. Now I look at that. I actually got hit with Curse. I got hit with a lot of tortures, right? So there's Curse. There's also some other elemental weaknesses. But let's say I want to get rid of that, right? This monster has that. Look at that. Removes tortures. Heals all allies by 30%. Applies life regen. So pretty good. Look at that. We got basically back to 100% with even a life regen on ourselves. And then this monster is going to get the turn. So let's go ahead and do like a fire weakness to kind of help out Graciel here once he gets a turn. And looks like I got a +1 there. I'm actually gonna just play it safe and do like 100% damage mirror with life regen. Now this monster's gonna get the turn. I'm just gonna do the AoE 90% life removal, and looks like the tortures didn't really help him out too much. Barely did any damage. And then this monster's gonna get a turn in a second to spam even more tortures if he wants to. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to, but you guys know how like he comes with a lot of tortures, including even Hellfire. Look at that. So Hellfire is applied too, but that's going to help towards my awakening. Now, Pure Guy's armor kicked in, but I will actually use the skill on the other monster there, the Jungle Eagle, to help me out a little bit more. I'm going to do this just to kind of eliminate the monster, get rid of him there. But we took 1 down there, and now look at that. Giving stamina to everybody, that is something we like to see. We could do vulnerability to everybody if we want to, or we could do a healing. Remember earlier, I really wanted to run the skill, and here is where it becomes useful. You know what I mean? You can actually do that 20% life regen with the life heal and everything. He gets a turn. Oh my gosh, look at that. We're just getting our awakening left and right. Then we could just basically one tap with the ultimate, but I want to basically get rid of Diablos and keep Graciel alive just to mess around with him a little bit. I'm just going to do the 40% life removal there. Looks like it didn't really do much to him, but he gets the turn here again. We could do vulnerability. I think that would be a good way. Or look at this, Emerald Aegis if you want to use it again. Or you could do a random elemental weakness with random torture. Although the torture is not going to land because he has torture immunity. But I'm going to do vulnerability because that's going to help out a little bit towards my basically towards my attacker, you know what I mean? And I don't really care if he gets his awakening, because then that's going to help me out even more. If anything, I'm just going to do my damage boost to kind of do like an overkill in a second. You guys will see what I'm talking about. We could basically use our ultimate here to gain control, but we don't really have to. It's not necessarily needed. The only thing I would say is that torture removal skill, it does take a while for it to get back, for you to use it again. So here, oh, look at that countdown. Oh, that is cool. That is pretty neat, right? So that could definitely throw off the enemies. Like, imagine you're just in a battle and then out of nowhere you get hit with death countdown from this monster. You wouldn't expect that, right? And anyways, guys, let's go ahead and use max star to fully finish the monster off. And wow, okay, there you go. Easy peasy, right? Now, I definitely think there is some, use some potential in this monster if you guys want to go ahead and invest in him. He's going to be available very soon in the game, but I just had an early access, exclusive access from Social Point, the creators of the game, and they wanted me to review this monster for you guys, so you guys can see how good the monster is in battle. But I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like, subscribe. Again, QR code on the screen, scan it, and hit the links down below, whichever one is easier for you. Go into the game and grab this monster for yourself, through whatever events he's going to be available, and possibly one of the passes. I'm not sure. We'll see. But anyways, thank you all so much. You guys next one. Peace out.